Alrighty, hello everybody. We are here to do an experiment in weird shit, so we can put this on R.W.S. Productions. And I've got Daniel here with me,
Hello, everybody.
and he is, you know, if I'm the queen of weird shit, he's probably the king of weird shit.
Yes.
So that's all the introduction you need. That's how we
That kind of sums it up pretty well.
But Daniel is, well, tell them a little bit about yourself, you know, what your profession is and what you're doing and how that will tie into some of these topics that we are going to talk about.
Perfect, will do. So I have done, I've been a massage therapist for many years. Started doing energy work when I was very little. I was like 12 years old when I first started like drawing spirals with intention and, you know, trying to help fix things in, you know, the home and in the world. You know, I have a long history of studying all kinds of different religions. I studied 3 different types of Buddhism. I studied 3 different types of Christianity. I studied Hinduism for a little while. Did a little bit of Muslim, not a whole lot because, you know, a lot of that's in Arabic, and I am from North Idaho, so I really don't even know how to speak English.
That's not your second language, no.
That is, no, I barely even have a first language. So, but yeah, I spent a lot of time really studying abroad, studying various world religions and theologies, studying different history from different cultures. And I've been fortunate enough as well to have a lot of really, really cool people in my life, like you, Laura Lee. You know, I would say I have 3 people in my life that are so intensely psychic that you cannot deny that there is something going on, you know, because you'll always hear those voices of like, am I just being crazy? You know, is this, how could this really be happening? And then you'll talk to one of these people and then it's like, for instance, you know, to bring in someone else here, you know, I was working with Ronnie once. My grandpa died and didn't tell her much about him. Within 5 minutes, she started talking just like him. She said his mom's name, like she told me exactly what happened when he crossed over, which I helped with.
And
I
didn't know about that. That's funny. That's great.
Yeah. And, you know, I've worked with Laura Lee now for a few years, and every time that we talk, it's
Synchronicities run amok. Yes.
They do. It's way too weird to just put into a single sentence. We'll put it that way. Right. The synchronicities and how everything lines up is just always absolutely perfect. So, yeah, I recently started my own business with massage and energy work. I do tarot readings. I do ghost rescues as well. You know, most of the techniques that I know I've learned from Laura Lee. So, you know, gotta give credit, you know.
So, we be besties.
We be besties. And if you can see behind me, there's a great big dragon.
Yes, I was just going to talk about the dragon. Yep. Yes, that's our pet dragon right there.
Yep.
And he lights up at night. So
yes, and it's absolutely gorgeous.
We love this dragon. He's our friend.
Yeah. So if you wanted to learn more about me, my website is flowerpowermassage.com. And, you know, if you're on Weird Shit Productions, you know Laura Lee's is firstwaveindigos.com and mystichouse.com and Got Ghosts.
And all those.
and all the other ones. I think there's like 3 others.
Click off.
Yep. So yeah, it's a pleasure to be here.
So this is going to be fun. One of the things that comes on our radar a lot, and especially with Daniel because he works as a massage therapist, and that's the chakra trap. So I will let you talk about the chakras and what you do with your clients, and then we'll go into the weird shit from there. Okay.
All right, sounds like a plan. So when I first met Laura Lee when I was like 13, 14 years old, I was introduced to the idea of getting rid of your chakras. I was so bought into them myself that I fought it for years. You know, I was always like, oh, well, I can change it, you know. Oh, you know, that might be true for some people, but it's not true for me. And eventually I just heard this voice in my head, just like, ask your body. What does your body think about the chakras? So I asked my body, and my body straight up said, get rid of those suckers. So I listened and I did.
Moment of truth.
The moment of truth. And it's been about 4 years now since I've done that. And I tell you what, so much has changed in my life. So I work in a crystal store right now. So I have people asking me all day, every day, oh, do you balance chakras? You know, what do you think about chakras? What chakra do I need to work on? Depending on the mood that I'm in, sometimes I tell them I'll balance them really good and you'll never have to worry about them again. So, but one
Oh,
thing I tell a lot of my clients is that the chakras are like an ice cream shop. So any sort of narcissist or manipulative person in your life, any energy feeder vampire, they can basically choose what flavor of ice cream they're going to feed off of. They can choose how they're going to affect you and how they're going to impact you just by choosing their flavor. Do they want strawberry suffering and insecurities, or do they want
anxiety, fear, and dread, or
exactly, exactly,
yeah,
grief, guilt, and shame? You know,
yeah.
it's all there. Um, Even back when I was into chakras, I always kind of had this back in the mind feeling that the chakras created more imbalances than what they fix. It's like as long as you're working with those 7 separate systems, um, they'll never fully combine into one, which I was always taught was the main goal. You know, the main goal is to balance them all and get them all to such a high rate of
High
health that,
vibration,
yeah, high
such a high
vibration,
vibration.
that they all become one big vortex. Um, well, it never worked. I did it for years. You know, and I would sit there, I would balance my chakras for 3 hours,
3 hours at a
three
time.
hours, three
Oh
hours, and
wow,
then I would head off somewhere, and within 30 minutes, they're all back out of whack, and um,
3 hours. I
it
can't
just
imagine
never.
that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, when I was in high school, I used to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning every day, and school didn't start until 8. So I had all of that time to prepare myself for the day. You know, I'd do my
And balance your
meditations, and
chakras.
yeah, and
Oh
I'd
my
balance my
gosh.
chakras, and that took about 90% of that time,
Oh
just
my
about every
gosh.
day. Um,
What a waste of time. Oh my
and it
gosh.
really, really was. Um,
Oh,
you know, I have learned through the last few years that the chakras not only give certain open doorways for entities to come in and narcissists and manipulators, they also release a certain toxin too. It's like when
like
people
that mosquito.
like that mosquito. Yes, yes. Uh,
Really, truly,
yeah,
truly.
yeah, yeah. You know, when you work with the chakras, it'll give you this high feeling. It'll make you think, oh, everything is so good. But, you know, if you're really brutally honest with yourself, if you really look at the way things are right now, when you're in that high state, can you look around you and honestly say that everything's fixed, that everything is okay? Can you honestly say that, oh, all these children who are getting hurt, that's okay? All these people across the planet that have no food right now, oh, that's okay. It doesn't matter. I'm high right now. It doesn't matter. You know, that was the vibe that it always gave me. That's how I always felt. Um,
Well, and that's different than, when you get yourself really in your core star, and you just know. Well, for one thing, you know that you and your avatar are like this,
mhm.
and that you are doing what you can at the moment to further your mission here.
Yeah,
And sometimes you do have to unplug from all of the
all
crap
the
in the
news.
world, all the
Yeah,
news, so
yeah,
that you can be this way. But it's
mhm,
different. It's got a different resonance to it. It's like
mhm.
la di da di da,
Yeah,
la di da.
yeah.
Everything's beautiful. La da
I
da da
think the
da.
big difference is that a lot of people, when they're in that chakra state, it's complete lack of awareness of what's happening. To whereas when you're in your heart core star and you're really attuned with your body, you're really in line with yourself, you're present, you're aware of
Exactly.
what's happening, instead of just trying to pretend like none of that exists.
Right.
I think that's what I've noticed to be the
And
big
it is
difference.
a lot like a drug. It's
Hmm.
like exactly what you said. It's yeah, a new age drug is what it is. So
It
yeah,
is.
that's a really interesting thing. So
Hmm.
when you have taken out chakras from your clients,
Hmm.
um, do you have them do it, or do you do it, or both, or how do you work
A
with that?
little bit of both.
Yeah.
Little bit of both. Since I work with so many people, a lot of them really don't want to do the work, but they still want to have it done.
Right.
So when I feel like it's appropriate, when I get the go ahead from their
Mm-hmm.
suma and their body, I'll go ahead and do it. Um, I personally prefer to let people do it on their own,
Yeah.
and then to check afterwards, like, oh, okay, yeah, you got all of them, or oh, there's still one more over here that you
Right.
need to
Or
get.
there's residue. That's usually what I find
Yeah.
is they didn't get all the residue.
Yep.
Because on my website, firstwaveindigos.com, there is a step-by-step how to take those chakras out. And it's also in Cryogenetics 1 and 2. There's more in-depth in Cryogenetics 2.
Yep.
So for me personally, I try to get them to do it. Now, on certain occasions, like with children, I will turn them off,
Mm-hmm.
and then when they're like 12 or something,
Mm-hmm.
depending on the kid, then they can take their own out. So it's kind of a case by case kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no, it's like a lot of things. There is no one size fits all in this stuff.
Yeah.
There's never a rule that is across the board all the time, except
that chakras suck.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's really good.
That's
No,
the one
really
main
good.
rule across
That
the
is-
board.
that is
Sorry,
really
what,
good. No,
what were you
I
going to
agree.
say?
No, I agree. That's it.
Yeah,
That
and
is
I
so
will
fun.
also add that it's also on the Knight's training course too.
Oh,
The implant removal protocol that makes it really easy to remove the chakras, as well as other weird shit too. It's on the website, it's in the books, and it's also in the Knight's training course.
and that is, I talk everybody through it. So isn't that right?
Yes.
It's been like
Yeah.
a whole 2 years ago, so I
Yeah,
can't
for
remember. He
well-
just goes. He's been through it. I mean, I haven't seen it for like 2 years, so I don't
And I think I
remember.
just rewatched one of them a
Okay.
couple of days ago. So
Good for you.
they're
I'm
really
glad you're
good though.
keeping
They're
up.
really good. I actually suggest to a lot of my clients to get the Knight's training course, because there's a lot of tools in there that you can learn, not only about the chakras, but also about the Kundalini and the astral bodies, which are also extremely tied into this system.
Oh, yeah.
It also teaches you how to do timeline therapy, which can fix tons
Wow.
of different things.
Wow. We need to maybe talk a little bit about timeline today. I don't know.
Oh,
Let's see
okay. Yes, yes.
If we got time, because if we got time to talk about time.
If we got
okay.
time to talk about time.
What I found is that this technique is not scary.
No.
Okay, like not scary. It's like you can look at the scariest, most horrible, hideous thing that has ever happened to you, and it's not scary.
And I can talk from firsthand experience that is very true. On the topic of timelines, I've done a few recently that brought me back to 20 and backs.
Very important. Explain what a 20 and back is. For
So loosely what a 20 and back is, and there's different levels of it, but the overall theme is that at a young age, you're basically abducted, and you spend 20 years or however long your service is pretty much being a slave of one way or another. I had memories of being at different planets, being in different armies, fighting different races, being a medic different times, doing engineer work. They pretty much just use you as they need you. And then once your time is over, what they do is they go back in time, regress you back to the age, physically regress you back to the age that you were taken, and then put you back in within seconds of when they took you. Sometimes minutes or hours, but they try to make it as close as possible. That way no one knows what happened. They wipe your memory, and it's really hard to get those memories back.
That's true. And more and more people are finding out that all of their traumas and their weirdnesses and their inabilities to cope with certain life things had to do with a 20 and back. And these people are thrown away, thrown under the bus, they don't care. The secret space program does not care. They only care that you'll like wake up, because they do a really, really good job of keeping those memories cloaked so that you never get into them. But a lot of people are starting to remember them and collaborate, and it's like, oh yeah, I was there too, yeah. And actually some of the abilities that you learned in the secret space program start coming back online. You remember how to do it. Do you remember any of the skills that they taught you?
Some of the medic skills, yes.
Oh, really?
Different herbs and stuff that I have never had to actually study, but I already knew their properties. A lot of little things. I don't have very specific memories on how I did the jobs that I did.
Mm-hmm.
I just know I did the jobs.
Well, and he's just starting out.
Yeah.
How long have you been working on twinning bags? It hasn't been that long.
Really not that long. I've known about them for a couple of years now, but I've only really been working on them for maybe 5 or 6 months.
Yeah.
Not very long at all.
Kind of new.
Yeah.
And this method of timeline soul retrieval is, well, Hal taught it to me. Okay, I didn't. I can't take credit for it. It's like, it just kind of evolved. I used to use a genie bottle because I thought that would be, way cool for everybody to do magic in a genie bottle. And then it just kind of, then I realized that the egg could do all the things that it can do. I'm like, well, let's toss the genie bottle. Let's use an egg. And so basically what you do is you're in a cryogenetics egg, and inside that egg, it's a great big old egg, and it's always sitting on your timeline in the present moment, always there. So if you go out on, for 20 minutes and you come back, the egg will have moved down the timeline 20 minutes or however long it is. So you're in this big old awesome badass egg. And then there's a smaller egg in there that's a transport egg that you can get in there with your dragons and your helpers that you feel real comfortable with. And then before you go anywhere, there's a treasure chest. And you always look in your treasure chest and see what's in there.
And you never know what's going to be in
never
there.
know.
It can be really... Let your creativity
the heck
go.
Is that?
Let your creativity
Why
just
am I
fill in the
seeing
blanks.
this in my treasure chest?
Yeah.
And they
It's
change.
fun.
They're not the same all the time. Okay. So you check out your treasure chest, then you get in the transport egg, then you come up, and the top of the big egg opens up like this, and you come up out of it, and then you're up here, and you're looking down, and your egg is on the timeline, and you look down at it, and then you look to the past and the future. And it's different for people. Sometimes it's straight ahead, sometimes it's to the right, sometimes it's to the left. It just depends. So you know what they look like, and usually the past is pretty crappy, and a lot of people in the future, they can't see anything, or it's black, or it's creepy or scary or whatever. So then you have your summa, your soul summa. You say, take me to the place I need to go first in order to fix blank.
Yep. For example, recently mine was to fix my shitty allergies because I love being out in nature, but I can't breathe when I'm out in nature. So
we're working on that one. We're going to work on that today, and we'll let you know how that goes.
Yeah. So that's just an example of one of the many things that you can do this for, even.
Exactly.
You can use it
or
for...
why I'm afraid of whatever.
Yeah,
or,
why I'm afraid of the dark.
Exactly. Or maybe you had a trauma as a child and you want to go heal that. Yeah. So what happens is your soul summa will move your little transport egg all over. And it may not be in this lifetime. It may be another planet, like when he went on the twinning back, he was like all over the galaxy, the universe. He was all over the place. So you don't know where it's going to be, but you always know that the egg is in the present moment, and you've got an anchor point. That's really important, that that you have the other egg, the big egg, in the anchor point, so you always can get back home.
Yeah.
Because some people get lost in space, like really.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Well, and another important thing too is that when you're out doing this, you're in the tiny egg high above the timeline.
Yes.
You're able to be aware of what's happening without all of the trauma hurting you again. And you will bilocate, you'll be up in the little egg and you'll be in the present moment too, and then you'll be up in the egg and then you'll be looking down at the memory and then you'll be in the memory for a little bit. I've had moments where I felt like I was in the memory, but
But
then
it's the memory, not the body.
exactly.
So that's the thing. So you're up here in your transport egg and you're looking down and you're watching it all happen.
Yeah.
Maybe your dog got ran over when you were little and you were watching the whole thing. You're not, down there trying to, pick him up and take him to the vet.
Yeah.
So you're just watching it. And then what happens is your suma, your soul suma, goes down and picks up all of your shattered pieces and puts them in a basket. And, sometimes it takes a long time. I had people have so many shattered shards that their soul suma had to split into 3 or 4 or 20 or 30 different people so that they could get all of the pieces in there. So then after they do that, then they clean them. They get them all cleaned up, all spiffed up, and then they come back to you and install them in you, these shattered pieces. And then they go back to the place where the trauma happened and clean the energy. If it was a forest, it was where your dog died, if it's in the vet's hospital, it cleans that up so that trauma is neutralized. There is no trauma.
I've also experienced too when there were ass souls involved, like any sort of like abuse situation, where when the team is going through and cleaning it up, they give them their karma too in the process.
Excellent.
They go in right there and give them instant karma.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's really important because a lot of these ass souls need their karma, and if they're dead, they still need to have their karma even if they're somewhere else. So it doesn't matter if your grandpa that abused you is dead, your soul suma and your egg can go find them and make sure that they get their karma.
Yeah, and the really eggs important. In your suma know what's going on too.
They do.
So even if you doubt it, even if you're like, oh, no, I really did love them. They didn't really abuse me. It was just a misunderstanding. Well, if that is true, then the eggs in your suma will,
they'll sort that out.
They'll sort it out. They're not going to just go and,
beat somebody up.
Yeah, beat somebody up, Yeah, exactly. And that's one thing about it.
But they can do that.
But they can.
If they need it.
Yep. Now, there have even been times where Laura Lee, have had to do that for animals, where you've gone through and done timeline for them to bring them back into the present moment because they were kind of scattered and in different places.
Yes. That's happened. It's happened on my farm with some of my animals.
Yeah.
They've been all over the place. So this method is fantastic. So then what happens after it's all cleaned up and you got your pieces back? Then you take a breath and you do your figure 8 racetrack. Heart to the head, back to the heart, down to the loins, back to the heart, and you get that going, and it brings everything together. And then you lock it and seal it, with your. So then after that, if there's time, usually we do three stops. Then you say to yourself, okay, take me to the next stop. I need to go in order to fix this blank. And then after the third one, then you go back to the big egg on your timeline, and as you look down, you see the past and the future, and you look at those again and say, okay, that's changed. It's not as dark. It's not as nasty. And the future? Oh, well, that, I can see in the future. That always happens. I have never had anybody say it's as nasty as it was before they went out there. I've never heard anybody say that. It's always better.
Yeah, I haven't either.
And so, so after that, then you go back into your big egg and you go into your treasure chest and it's always different. It's always different. Usually it's upgraded. There's something nicer. Sometimes the things you don't have any idea why they're there, you understand that. And then your Summa gives you a present, and it those can be very interesting too.
Yeah, and then your sumo will also ask you, what did you learn from this
Yes.
experience? What did you learn here? Uh, it's always interesting to me guiding people through this
Mm-hmm.
situation, guiding them through this timeline therapy, because you'll see the change right away. They'll automatically be like, oh, I can recognize that so and so had this issue, and although it's not okay that they did it, I'm not going to continue to hurt myself because it happened, or
Exactly.
something is going to shift. There's going to be more neutrality, or a lot of times people have a lot more empowerment too. They'll
Oh
step
yeah.
away and be like, you know what, you're right. I couldn't have fixed that when I was 5, but now I know better, and now I can change it for the future. Or tons of different things.
Well,
Tons of different
exactly.
things.
And they once you get the education from it, it then becomes a tool instead of a stumbling block. It's like, oh, okay, well, I learned a lot from that. It sucked, but now I'm a lot more aware, and I have a lot more skill sets, and I'm not going to be a fierce bitch anymore.
Now, I don't think I've done a single timeline therapy with someone where they didn't feel more encouraged afterwards, where they didn't feel
Exactly.
stronger, they didn't feel more themselves. I have never had that happen.
I haven't either. They always feel, and usually it's a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Like they go out, happy and skipping and like,
Yeah.
wee.
Yeah, they'll
Life
come
is
in all
good.
beat up, feeling like, everything's out to get them, and then walk away feeling a ton better. And it's so cool because you have this on the night's training course. You have this in the cryogenetics too. You have it available for people to learn how to do this for themselves. It's not just, oh, you have to come to me and spend money to get this done. It's like, no, you're going to learn how to do this because this is something
Exactly.
that can really help you.
Well, the thing is though, with that, I kind of advise people,
Yes.
if you're doing, like if you go into a 20 and back, you want to have somebody there that knows how to do this,
Yeah.
so that you don't get, it can be real nasty. So,
Yeah.
a couple of times with somebody that's done it before, or take the night's training.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always good to have somebody kind of hold your hand and kind of walk you through it for a couple of times. But after that, you can just go on your own and do a gazillion of them if you want.
Especially if you are an indigo or a CCC, because we do go through things a little differently than Earth beings.
Exactly.
Earth beings will get
CCC
trauma too,
It's
but
Cosmic Cleanup Crew.
yes,
Just
yes, Cosmic Cleanup Crew.
for the new people that don't know.
Yes. And then HRT is Holographic Restoration Team now.
Hologram restoration.
Hologram restoration. Yep.
It used to be hologram
Rescue
team, and now it's restoration, because
Yep.
we got all of our peeps rescued, so now we're restoring things, so that's really good.
Yep. Yeah.
So
now, also on the night's training course, when people buy that course, there is a free 15-minute video that has you reading through it. So, and I always recommend to people to get at least like 2 or 3 sessions with someone that's done it before. But then after that, if you wanted to, you can just listen to the video. You could just listen to that recording.
Exactly.
Because a lot of times, like, I'll get so relaxed during that timeline therapy,
You go to sleep.
Yes, that has happened.
Oh, you need
Either I'll
somebody
go
there
to sleep
that asks
or
you questions.
Yep. Or I'll forget steps.
Yeah.
Or I'll like jumble them around.
Yeah. And it's not you doing it. It's some dark lord trying to mess with you so that you don't get it done right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So sometimes it's good to have somebody there that will make you accountable and that can take you through the steps. So.
Yeah. And that's just one of many amazing techniques as well. There's so many. One that I tell a lot of people about, the spiral curse reversal ceremony.
Oh, that's really
that
cool.
one was life changer for me.
Me too. Like, really.
Yeah.
life changer.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. When you do any tool or techniques like these, you really start to remember that you are magic, that you really do have the power, with the integrity and the wisdom to make a change. Um, Sometimes you have to work up to realizing that you have the wisdom and the responsibility, um, but it's there and you have the potential. If you're a soul being, you have that soul for a reason. Um,
Yep.
And once you take back your power, then the Dark Lords that, we all gave them to in the first place, they're kind of shit out of luck.
Yeah, they're kind of spoils their plans.
It does.
Which is great. We want to spoil their plans.
It is. One thing too, while we're on that topic, is always remember to get rid of the lashes.
Oh yes.
For anything that you
God,
do,
yes.
always go after
my
the
gosh.
lashes.
Oh yeah, I call it the peripheral protocol. It's all of the things that could make it come back. Like there's loops and there's things that can resetters and things like that. So you want to make sure that you get all of that and all of the lashes, the back lash, the front lash, the side lash, the lash removal lash. It goes on, and that's all in the peripheral protocol of the implant removal. So that's. I mean, we get, even when we do that, sometimes they find a way in and around, and we can still get smacked sometimes. But we're right on it, and those buggers, they are so sorry for that.
Oh, they are. They are. I've had situations where I've still gotten some sort of backlash from doing something, and I would put it all up in a nice little package and give it to Lady Karma and Lady Justice. And it's like, you know what? Give this to whoever needs it.
Yes. Take this package to all the Dark Lords that are on your list that need a
and sharing is caring, right? So go ahead and duplicate it as many times as you need to.
Yeah, get your 100 monkeys in there, and that's true.
And there have been times where I've done that and the backlash was instantly gone.
Interesting.
Like I'll have all these weird thoughts running through my head, I'll be feeling weird and out of place, and then I'll do that, and within seconds I'm like back to being myself. It's
that and the Screw You Losers, Up Yours Losers, which sends cryogenetics eggs with a spinning star into them, puts truth and justice juice in them. Can you imagine how horrible that is for them?
Yep. And you never say F you losers. It's always screw you losers.
Never.
Okay. If you say that, it's no longer working with the eggs.
That's right. You're working with the porn vibration.
Yeah, because these eggs will literally screw into them.
So it's kind of a play on words, and it makes you feel better, and it literally screws into them.
Yep.
Thanks for bringing that up, because that's really important, because we don't want to send people to the porn vibration.
No.
So I think we're good for now. I think our your phone might be running out soon. So this is good. We'll be doing more of these.
Yeah.
We don't know when.
Yeah,
just
we never
that we
know.
will be. And this is a good start, and we covered a lot of ground.
We did. And if you want more information about the chakras and the secret behind them, definitely check out Laura Lee's website. She has 2 amazing articles. There's a part 1 and part 2 about the chakras, the kundalini, and the astral bodies. And if you're listening to this, you're like, oh, this is just a crock of shit. There's a lot of other teachers too that are all saying this, and a lot of them don't know each other.
That's
a lot of them
true.
are being like, no, these are really corrupted systems.
And in the beginning,
and it was not like
probably I don't know anybody that started getting rid of chakras back in the
early 90s.
Well, in the late, it was like right after the turn of the century. It was like 2005 or something. And I got a lot of backlash for even talking about getting rid. And AI. Oh my gosh.
That
AI,
will be a good topic.
God was AI. This God that everybody is
that your archangels are
AI.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Man,
If you're...
I got messed over for even talking about that. It was interesting.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, and there is so much more that we could say about all of these things too.
And we'll do that on another one.
Yeah,
we'll do. And if there's any topics that you would like us to talk about, put it in the comments, and we'll try to do one for that. Okay?
Yes. Yep. Till now, I hope you all have a great rest of your time
Okay,
until we meet
tell them
again.
what hup is. They
So
wouldn't know.
so the hup is one of the new modes for the cryogenetics U17 eggs. And whenever you call in the eggs, you always want to say original, authentic, upgraded cryogenetics egg. And I'll even say cryogenetics badass egg because there's
It is,
thousands
it's
of
badass.
modes in there. But the hup egg is heal, upgrade, purify,
perfect and
perfect.
protect.
Yeah. So healing, upgrade, perfect, and protect.
Yes.
Yeah. Um,
And we say that
it's like our own
instead
version of a med bed.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Like really,
Yeah.
you can watch it working. You put somebody in a hup egg,
Mhm.
and you can watch it scanning them. You know, it goes up and down, and then it goes again, and it adds things to it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
We did that on my little chicken that was swinging her head like this. I mean, like really,
Mhm.
she was doing this, and then she'd go like this and try to grab her belly, and then she'd start tumbling.
Mhm.
And we put her in that a lot. We took a whole bunch of crap. I mean, that
Yeah.
poor thing. She was getting attacked by like the
9.999
assholes
threats
of the universe
Yeah.
were on her tail, and I'm like, why?
She's such a sweet little chicken
I
too.
know, she's so sweet. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, we've been getting them. You know, it's almost
Yeah.
like she's
like the whistleblower.
yeah, exactly.
A lot of times when
exactly.
she has something, when this chicken has something, it's something that's affecting a lot of other people too.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly like
Yeah.
that. 9.999.
Yeah.
Evil.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, there are very, very few of those. The last time there was a threat level that high was pretty much the D monster herself.
Yeah. She would be a 10. So
she was a 10.
These were like
Yeah.
her spawn.
Yeah.
And this 9.99 threat literally had her fingerprint on it.
Yeah.
And it was like waiting for the end of the end game. Should we get this far in overthrowing the Dark Lords, this came up. It's
Yeah.
like a auto release.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know who the D-Monster is, sorry, didn't
no,
mean to interrupt.
That's
for
fine.
those of you who don't know who she is, the D-Monster is basically one of the first creator beings, but instead of being able to create things on her own, she was only able to corrupt. So when the hologram was turned on, she did it forcefully. This was supposed to be a place of restoration. This was supposed to be a place of like a vacation.
Spot. Yes.
But when she came in, she intentionally put in suffering. She intentionally put in corruption and manipulation and abandonment issues.
Everything evil
Yeah.
came from her. So you can have her to thank for all of this crap.
Yeah. So just so you know, that's
her in a
there's going to be
nutshell.
a lot of things like that where we're going to be like talking about things
and you won't know what that is. So
yeah. So if we forget something, just let us know in the questions.
Or hop on the website and you'll be able to find it there. So
yeah.
Do that.
All right.
Okay, I think we'd be done. Everybody have an awesome day or night or whatever, and we'll see you again soon, whenever that is.
Whenever that is.
Okay.
Yep.
Bye.